boys making today?
Today we are making Lazy Man brisket. Okay, so our first thing we're going to do with the brisket is we've unpackaged it. Now we're going to remove some of the excess fat because the seasoning... Are you mimicking Papa?
His little hands are doing it too.
We want to get the seasoning actually into the meat. This big fat cap here, it will keep your seasoning from getting into your meat. And what it'll also do is it'll protect the meat from the smoke, and that's not what we want. We want smoke inside the meat. So we're going to trim some of this up without cutting ourselves. Be good for the dog. See how fat it goes in there? Just a big layer of fat. There's the meat. We're going to take this off here just because it's got some blood spot on it. Nobody wants to taste that. Yeah, watch your fingers. Take some of that. We got this little layer of sinew we're going to try to get off here.
He wants to help so bad.
Nobody wants that to be chewing on it right there. Like one hard piece of meat. Yeah, exactly. Tell them we know. And another thing I want to kind of point out before we get too far into it so you can still see it is the grain of the meat is actually running this way. It doesn't run this way. It'll actually run at this angle. So when you want to make your cuts, you're actually going to start here and cut against the grain. That way that meat just pulls apart instead of being long and stringy. So we'll check the other side, see if there's any spots we need to get rid of. See this spot here? We want to get that out of there. That's from the packaging. We'll get some of this off here. Big old fat layer. What? Help? Yes,
He wants to help.
You're helping so good, buddy. So we got almost 1.5 inches of fat on this side, keeping that seasoning from ever getting to that meat. Hey, what? What? You gotta watch your fingers, buddy. There we go. That's just pure fat. Just isn't gonna. You can kind of feel it's kind of hard. My knife's already getting dull. Look at that. Where's my knife sharpener at, boy? It's right there. Get that off. We'll cut that just right across there. That right there, because that's just going to burn. Alright. Let's put this over here. Well, we'll flip her back over and we're going to start adding the salt and pepper. We're just going to do it Texas style. It's very easy. They don't really add a whole lot. I like it nice and simple. But what we're going to do to help the seasoning stick to it is we got a little bit of olive oil here. So we're going to pour it on and we're just going to rub it out there. Yeah. Papa's fixing to make a mess. See all that oil? We're just going to rub it in.
Why?
Because we're going to use it to get the seasoning to stick.
I hope.
Yeah, you want to help? Alright, let me wash my hands. Right. So what we got here is just a black pepper and salt mixture. I was running low on black pepper. I always save my deals because it just makes easier shakers. You can have multiple rubs and different ones. So I'm gonna let my grandson add some seasoning. Okay, you ready? What you gotta do is just shake it on there, just like this. Okay, just like that. Okay, here, you do it. Shake it on there, all over. It's gonna need more than that. Good job. Can I do that? All right. We're gonna put it on there good and thick. We're gonna get a good bark going. All over. And we're gonna let this sit for about 30 minutes and let this salt and pepper kind of soak into the meat. It'll kind of start to melt in. And then before we put it on the smoker, we'll actually put a little bit more on there just to keep it wet.
Hey, Dad can help. My dad can that.
Your dad can help?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah? Can your dad cook
No.
as good as Papa?
You can
That's
cook
right.
pizza, huh, Jake? You can cook pizza, huh?
Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to rub your rub in. You actually pat it in. So, you gonna help? Push. Come on now. Push it. There you go. Push it in there. There, good job, buddy. Okay, we'll turn it over. Now we'll turn it over. We'll go get that fat side. You want to wash your hands? Just a second, and we'll wash your hands, okay?
Now.
Oh, now? All right. You trim that off square so that seasoning will sit down on there.
Are you done?
You're done?
A whole more.
You want to help some more? You want to help Papa go build a fire?
I am a hope.
Here, we got to pat it in, though. Ready? Pat. Pat it in. Push. You're not going to help Papa?
No, he just wiped his hands off.
Oh, you go stay clean now, huh? I'll see how it is. That's not very fair. Get it right there.
Are you dad?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
It's the only time my wife doesn't mind me making a mess in her kitchen.
Doggy, cook.
Get her on the end there.
I am my hand too.
On your hands too? Or on my hands? Yeah, it's all over my hands, huh?
Oh, more.
The last time you did it this way, it was really awesome.
It's gonna be a little. This is a little bit thinner, a little bit smaller brisket, so we're actually only gonna smoke it for about 3 hours.
Why is she pull?
The reason we call it the Lazy Man smoke is it's Tuesday and I don't have, I have to be at work in the morning, so I can't be up all night watching the fire, tending the fire. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in the smaller smoker and we're gonna cook it for about 3 hours at about 250 to get a good smoke ring put in it. Then what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring it in the house. We're going to wrap it up in a foil pan. And we're going to put it in the oven at about 220 to 210, somewhere around in there. Then we're actually going to let it cook for another 8 hours while we're asleep. We did this about a month ago, and it actually turned out really well. I was just trying to figure out how, because I love to cook brisket. I love brisket, but finding the time to actually spend the low and slow cook time that it requires is getting few and far between. So we're going to go 3 hours in the smoker and we're going to go 8 hours in the oven. So, all right, we're going to go build a fire. We'll slowly go up to bigger chunks of wood using some fork. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're just placing it on the grill. We're going to put it the thin side the furthest away from the heat, and we're going to smoke it with the fat cap up so it kind of marbleized. It'll kind of render down and it'll actually go into the meat and give us a real good juice. Alright, we'll see you in 3 hours.
Hey, Instagram. It's Testimony Tuesday on our Facebook page. We are sitting outside. We're having some dinner. Kind of just enjoying the evening. Smoking some meat. Just waiting for
Coffee.
7 o'clock. It's like 9 o'clock now, and I think he's ready to take it out, and I'm feeling raindrops. Are you seeing the raindrops? It's starting to rain.
So it's been running at 225 for the last hour.
Awesome. Woo!
Cool. So we're gonna get her off there, and we're gonna take her in, wrap her up, and put her in the oven.
No accidents.
Yeah. Let's not drop the food.
Woo! Or fall. Good job, babe.
We'll just let that down.
Here it is. Now it's going in the oven, right?
Yep.
Might have to turn it sideways.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually got it in the pan, so we're going to wrap it up. We're going to put 2 layers of tinfoil on the top to make sure it seals really good. And we're going to pop it in the oven all night while we're sleeping and being lazy. And when we get up in the morning, we can actually have some sliced brisket for breakfast. We're going to set it on the top rack. That way it's up away from the heat. We got our timer set, and we'll see you in the morning.
Well, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, so we are going to turn the oven off. Well, I'm 6 minutes early. So we're going to pull it out and see what happens. Alright. There is our brisket.
Looks good.
Well, I bet it's going to taste good. Let's take this right here. Alright, so the brisket has been sitting. We've just been letting it rest, trying to draw the juices back into it. So we're going to make our first couple cuts. Now the way you judge the tenderness is if it folds over. You see how it's already starting to tear apart just from holding it? That's when you know you got a good tender piece of meat. You can see the smoke ring. That'll just fall apart.
And this is what Jonathan was waiting on last night.
Yeah, he's been waiting all night.
And he wanted some.
There you go. That's the lazy or easy way to make a brisket is a few hours out on the smoker and then rest of the night in the oven, and when you wake up, you got breakfast.
It's for breakfast. We just grabbed
It
it
turned out really tender too. Scrambled eggs and brisket. That's me. Thank you guys for watching.